Let's explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
AM.
Hi, baby. Baby, you have to listen to me carefully. I'm on a plane that's been hijacked. I'm on the plane. I'm calling from the plane. I want to tell you I love you. Please tell my children that I love them very much. And I'm so sorry, babe. I hope to be able to see your face again, baby. I love you. Bye.
Jules, this is Ryan. Listen, on an airplane that's been hijacked. If things will go well, and it's not looking good. I just want you to know I absolutely love you. I want you to do good. So have a good time. Same to my parents and everybody. And I just totally love you. And I'll see you later. Bye, babe.
What are those people going to do? All the elevators are blocked out.
In a country that most people would struggle to find on a map, in a compound that few possess the courage to enter, men from my previous life took the fight to our enemy. In that compound, they found men that pray 5 times a day for your destruction. Those men don't care about your religious beliefs. They don't care about your political opinions. They don't care if you sit on the left or the right, liberal or conservative, pacifist or warrior. They don't care how much you believe in diversity, equality, or freedom of speech. They don't care. I'm sorry you've never smelled the breath of a man who wants to kill you. I'm sorry you've never felt the alarm bells ringing in your body, the combination of fear and adrenaline as you move towards the fight instead of running from it. I'm sorry you've never heard someone cry out for help or cried out for help yourself, relying on the courage of others to bring you home. I'm sorry you've never tasted the salt from your own tears as you stand at flag-draped coffins burying men you were humbled to call your friends. I don't wish those experiences on you, but I do wish you had them. Most will never understand the sacrifice required to keep evil men like those from that distant compound away from our doorstep. But it would not hurt you to try and understand. It would not hurt you to take a moment to respect the sacrifices that others make on your behalf, whether they share your opinions or not. It would not hurt you to take a moment to think of the relentless drain on family, friends, and loved ones that are left behind, sometimes for weeks, sometimes for months, sometimes for years, sometimes forever. Ideas are not protected by words. Paper and ink may outline the foundation and principles of this nation, but it is blood, only blood, that protects it. In that dusty compound, a man you have never met gave everything he had so that you have the freedom to think, speak, and act however you choose. He went there for all of us, whether you loved or hated what he stood for. He went there to preserve the opportunity and privilege to believe, to be, and to become what we want. You have the choice every day as to which category you want to be in which direction you want to move. You have that choice because the best among us The best we ever had to offer. Fought and bled and died for it. Don't ever forget that.
Episode 132. It's Thursday night, October 9th, 2025. And I'll be running solo tonight, but that's okay because I got an amazing guest. Because my partner, well, he's playing Twinkle Toes out in San Francisco, and we will bash him throughout the night, I'm sure. Tonight's guest, folks, we've had him on SITREP before. And I just want to share something, a little story, and then we'll get these ads taken care of. And then it's going to be a fire show, and you'll understand why when this man graces us with his presence here in a few. But the story that I want to share with you guys, I was driving to work one time. This is when I was doing the canine work, and as I'm driving on the freeway, I'm on the 60 westbound towards Los Angeles, and I see on the center divider there's a flag all shredded and on the side of the road, and whew, I fly past it, but I saw it, and I didn't like knowing that there was a flag on the road, and I was just like, the next exit is a little bit of a distance, and I'm driving, and I'm seeing that flag in my head, and you bet your ass I took that exit, and I drove back. Went across the exit, got there, pulled over to the median, and I picked up that flag and I put it in my truck. Because there was no way I was going to let this little flag be on the ground. Wasn't going to happen. You know, that intro shows the flag at a number of different sequences. And a lot of those remind us of the sacrifice Old Glory represents. You know, I saw that flag folded up and given to my partner's mom by a fellow Marine. And some people would say, well, it's just fabric, all threaded together. It's symbolism. No, it's not. It's so much more than that. And tonight we're going to ask my guest what he actually think this means. And I'm going to say this, folks. We've seen a lot of stuff popping off around this country. And a lot of people talk about doing shit, but that's all they do is talk. And I've watched this man. I don't give him as much kudos as I should, but I've watched this man go all over the country and defend it, help people, rescue people, and recently stand up for our flag, stand up for Old Glory. And it wasn't a Marine. It wasn't an Army Green Beret. It was a fucking Seabee. God damn it, I gotta admit that shit. It kills me, folks, that I gotta say it was a Navy Seabee. Part of me just wants to say he was probably trying to steal it. Like, that's what makes sense in my head. So with that, let's get to two amazing sponsors, and then it's showtime with this amazing guest. First on deck, another veteran company, guys. Badlanders, you're familiar with Loaded Gun Coffee. They have been longtime supporters of Badlands. You may have met them in person at Gart's. But did you know that they're a veteran-ran, family-owned shop in Lake Havasu, Arizona? Every bag of their whole bean coffee delivers a high-octane, patriotic punch of flavor. With the long family history of commitment to freedom, every bag is a testament of pride and honor. From the skilled farmers who cultivate each blend to their roasters that handpick the finest coffee beans from around the world, Loaded Gun Coffee has mastered their unique brewing methods, resulting in the best tasting coffee around. This coffee is smooth and delicious, the perfect way to start your mornings. Get over to badlandsmedia.tv/loaded and use promo code Badlands to get 10% off your order. If you're in the Lake Havasu area, stop in to their newly renovated store and say hi. Again, you guys, that is badlandsmedia.tv/loaded, promo code Badlands. Stay loaded with Loaded Gun Coffee. I feel like that thing went by really fast, and I was reading quick. I underestimate how much work CannCon does. Our next one, you guys, introducing SLNT Silent, if it will come on the screen. There we go. Empower your right to disconnect with SLNT Faraday cage bags. In a world where tech never sleeps, our mission is to keep you safe, private, and healthy. Our patented technology shields your devices from hacking, tracking, and EMF radiation, giving you autonomy over your digital life. Disconnecting sparks creativity, strengthens relationships, and brings peace of mind. With SLNT, you get effortless gear built with integrity. I'll be staying one step ahead to protect your data and security. Choose SLNT and reclaim your freedom to disconnect. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/Faraday, Faraday, and use promo code Badlands to snag your 10% discount. Again, that's badlandsmedia.tv/Faraday, promo code Badlands. All those links are down in the description. And now I got to bring in X's most sexy man and Navy Seabee. I'm fired up. Chad Caton, honored to have you, brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm not near as sexy. I got a little scratch on my chassis, dog. Up there fucking with Antifa. I'm working through it, man. I'm working through it. But you know, I can't shave because I'm afraid I'm scared rip off the scabs from being shot with the pepper ball. So I gotta I've got the beard going and it never grows right. So I'm not, it's not gonna ever stay.
You know what? Women love scars. So Mama Bear at home is probably she's gonna tear you apart with that. She's like, get over here, you man.
She tore me apart because she watched me go into fights and shit the entire time and live on TV. God bless my wife right off the rip because you know, she's a strong woman. She stood there and it was funny because I'd be live and she's like, they're circling you, Chad. They're circling. And I'm like, I got it, babe. We got this under control, man. She watched every minute of it, every fisticuff, every danger moment, you know, all the things that happened out there, you know, and she never said, get your ass home or anything. She knew what I was doing. She knew it was important. And she actually had to sit here and watch it. And I can't believe how amazing of a wife I have that will allow me to go do this stupid shit in the name of our country. You know, she believes in it.
Absolutely. So for those that don't know, Chad reminded me of that scene in the movie Braveheart with Mel Gibson, and it's the very first one where they're gonna go and meet the king, right? And Mel Gibson, William Wallace, he goes up there, and they're like, you know, well, what do we do now? And he goes, I'm going to go pick a fight.
I'm going to go pick a fight.
Everybody's like, well, I guess we didn't get dressed up for nothing.
Nope.
Chad, you've been all over the freaking internet. You've been all over, you know, media.
Yeah.
How did it kick off? What did you see that kind of said, all right, enough of this shit. I'm getting a plane ticket.
They fucked with my boy, Nick. He's my friend. And if I don't do anything, I love hard, you know? And Nick is a legitimate friend of mine, somebody that I have the utmost respect for in what he does. And I know that I was carrying a certain, I had a certain level of skills that could benefit him based off of the situation he was currently in, knowing that he went to jail for nothing. Antifa was going to wait for him to come out. And I also know Nick, he's fearless. He'll walk right back down there and flip him off. So I literally woke up, saw the video, told my wife, I'm out. I got to go. And she's like, all right. And I had a flight out in 2 hours and I got there as soon as I could. And the rest is history. It started to protect Nick, but then it turned into a mission.
You know, when we watch all this, whether it's somebody posting it on social media or mainstream media reporting, we only get what they choose to show us. Mm-hmm. Since you were there in real time, we know mainstream media pushes an agenda. Mm-hmm. But you got to see a lot of street level influencers and podcasters and alt media that was there. How much do we really see of what's going on compared to what's actually going on that you witnessed?
Well, for mainstream media, they weren't even there until we made a big stink about it that following Saturday or that Saturday. And all hell broke loose because we had so many patriots there. We actually made Antifa the first time in 100 days, tuck tail and go. They didn't like the numbers. They didn't like what was going on. They sure shit didn't like the fact that we would step up to them and be like, what's up, homie? You're nobody. and we had so many patriots, man. I met dudes from Delta. I met dudes who were Navy SEALs. They're like, dog, we saw you out here. We were like, he ain't having fun by himself. We're not letting the Seabees do this by themselves. And me and Tario being a Green Beret, they're like, and we had an entire like half a fraternity come down from Portland State University that was all out, and they're like, dude, let's go party with these crazy bastards. And when we got it all done, Antifa sitting there in their little clown outfits and shit, just going, what in the wide world of sports is happening? When we started yelling USA, USA, and it was deafening, and Antifa's over there with their fog or bullhorns, and you couldn't hear them. And man, I gotta tell you, ICE walked out there. They call them the stormtroopers because they open the gates and they're like, dong, 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 dong. And I'm gonna tell you right now, man, ICE walked out there with 10-foot dicks. They walked out like, what's up? Who wants some? They walked over and they ripped down a sign that had been up there forever that said abolish ICE. They walked right over there and ripped that thing down with knives. And then they some of the Antifa got crazy, and that's the really crazy videos you've seen go around. Fox has been playing my video for a week now, and I get no credit for it, but they've been playing it because they brought out the big guns. They brought out the Gatling pepper ball gun, the sniper pepper ball gun. They had the big cans, the 44 millimeter smokes. I mean, you name it, the red smokes. We were eating shit out there. And the cool part was I happened to be on the wrong side when they came out. So I'm just sitting there filming, and there's like 3 ICE guys in front of me, and they're like, fuck, that looks like fun. They're just out there. I mean, literally, they were just kicking Antifa down the street all the way to a place called the Spaghetti Factory. It doesn't get any better than that. It was just beautiful. It was fantastic.
That is awesome. Well, what did the numbers look like from the Patriot side? If you had to give like an estimate.
When I first got there, there's probably 10 of us, 200 Antifa, and then right off the rip, we started doing our lives, and I didn't tell anybody I was going. So it was like, surprise, Chad's in Portland. Everybody's like, what the and everybody's sharing it everywhere. And then Matt Tario did the same thing, and we're hooked up with Nick. And then it turned into like, let's go party at the ICE facility. And before I know it, everybody knows Tommy Boy, right? Tommy Two-Time. I gave him his first call sign ever because he's just knocking out Antifa left and right. He starts chanting USA, and I'm like, holy shit, all these people are with us. And Antifa was doing this, just like, it was so good. It was so good. I mean, we're getting the ICE officers have their hand on the weapon. They're like giving us winks through the thing, and they're like, we got you, man. We got you. And the confidence was so high with them. And Nick was actually got to go behind the wire, and they're like, man, we were so glad to see you guys show up. They've been dealing with this for 100 days. And for out of 3 nights I was there solid, we took 2 of those nights, and we brought the whole world to Portland in those 3 days between Tario, Nick, and myself. The whole world saw, and now the local ABC station has a 24-hour camera on the ICE facility because they wouldn't show anything before that. And they saw what, you saw what the president did with Nick and all the other influencers. And, we brought the pain, we brought the truth, because there wasn't any really getting out there except for some local people that have been filming forever, like Honey Badger Mom. She's been out there since day one. She's been attacked 5 times. My boy, there's an Andy, biker Andy. He's been out there, but they don't have the big names, right? They don't have the big followers. So what we were able to do is just film our own and take it 10x to where the whole world saw what was really going down in Portland. And you're seeing subsequently what's happened from there. Donald Trump ain't playing no games with Portland and Antifa, because essentially the mission turned into, holy shit, this police department's corrupt. Absolutely 1000% corrupt. I wasn't allowed to be in the street, but Antifa was allowed to go out there and drop their pants and show their hairy muff to everybody on the other side. And the cops would actually ride around the naked girl. It was absolutely ridiculous. We have it on film where we were trying to talk peace with them, and the cop, every camera, even a Korean camera, was in my face while we're trying to talk about, some semblance of peace and what we're doing here. And we wanted to show that we would try. And a sergeant came in, tapped me on the shoulder, and he's like, you need to come with me. And I was like, for what? I'm on the sidewalk. I'm sitting here talking peace. What are you talking about? And I started arguing with him, and he goes, you need to come with me. And this chick they call Little Mama, she goes, I think she said Jerry, but I can't remember. She said his name. He's like, we're fine. The sheriff's like, oh, okay. He gets back on his bike and goes. Antifa runs the police department in Portland. And I can't believe I'm saying it. I'm a public safety guy, but these people are shitbags.
we'll get into that conversation and we'll come back
Sorry, I
to
didn't get too far ahead.
No, because it's important. And you know, when some of the people were telling me, hey, your boy Chad is saying that Portland PD is being run by Antifa, I was like, well, one, I trust Chad. I go, so
That's not something I would say lightly, man.
Exactly. So I said, so I need to start looking at these clips. And when I started looking at these clips, I was just like blown away. One in particular is the guy that brandished the gun. And I'm going to play this out how it happens.
Yeah.
There's this guy, he's in a beat up truck, right? Listen, I'm going to judge. He looks like a shitbag. That's what he looked like.
Fair.
And, words are being exchanged. So far, that's kind of par for the course. But then he goes like this for his hip.
No. There's something before that. He starts chucking bottles at Tommy.
Yes. He starts
you
throwing
can hear
the bottle.
The glass breaking on the ground. And in the foreground, you see two cops sitting on a bike. They're allowing him to throw glass at Tommy. So that's important.
They're literally right down the other side of the street.
Right on the other side of his truck.
Yeah. They're super close to it. And then all of a sudden he goes like this. And given all the stuff that we've seen, I'll give the cops the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they don't see this movement. But when everybody starts calling attention to what's going on,
gun.
At that point, that is the worst thing you ever want to hear as a cop. An altercation, regardless of who's at fault, followed by he has a gun. At that point, you should be breaking leather, pointing gun in that direction, and telling everybody to get the fuck on the ground. Because you don't know who has the gun just yet. Maybe you do, maybe some don't, maybe there's confusion, but you need to control the situation. These guys come over nonchalant.
Never even touch it.
It blew my mind. And they come up to him, and ultimately it turns out that it's a CO2 gun. But regardless, there's time that passes before you realize that. And that entire time, you're talking about something that represents a critical threat.
Absolutely.
And to see the way these guys handled it, I was just like, had it been a real gun and somebody got hurt, these guys are absolutely going to be, held liable for that because of the way they responded. So whether it's they don't know how, regardless, it was a shit response. And then there was this video after video after video. Can you give our audience some other specifics that you saw that kind of brought you to the conclusion that Portland PD is compromised?
Yes. When we went and we asked, they have these liaisons, were basically these social worker cops. They have liaison on their back. Big shit show. And I said, is that sidewalk where they have their tents, is that a public sidewalk? And they said, yeah. I said, do I have a right to walk on it? And they said, yeah. I said, thank you. And then Nick got his flag, and that's where you see me and Nick inside that tent, and all hell breaks loose. And that's where Tommy 2 times knocked out. I mean, he knocked the Holy Spirit out of this Antifa dude. Like I'm telling you right now, I thought he was dead. I looked down, he's between my legs, and his eyes weren't closed, but his eyes were rolled back, and all I saw was white. And I'm like, holy crap, he killed this guy right now. I think I said it on live. I said, I think Tommy just killed that guy, and he was literally out for 5 minutes. But they took the flag that Nick had. It took a couple nights before that. Nick took it out, went in there, and they attacked us. And we started showing video to these liaisons. Like, here's the guy that hit me. Here's the guy that did this to my nose. Here's the guy that grabbed Nick, all these things. And then the officers came in because they said, okay, we're gonna come in for an arrest because the bikes will come in and arrest somebody. And then all of a sudden, this other cop comes up in blue, and he's like, yeah, we're not arresting anybody. You guys instigated that. And I said, can you please explain how we instigated anything? Can you explain how we instigated anything when this cop said that is a public sidewalk? Well, you obviously see that they have an encampment there, and you chose to walk through it. And I said, but I have the right to do so and not be attacked with my life almost. And the cop, I had to check my shit because I was being a public safety guy. I'm like, I know the law, dick. And they didn't give a flip. They absolutely, dude, they were passing out water to Antifa after a big barrage. They were giving water to Antifa. Like, I'm sitting here going, what? And then you see the chief of police go out there and say conservative influencers have gone down here and turned this into a circus and blah, 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 blah. That's coming from the chief of police of Portland, blaming us because we wanted to
That
push
was-
back and protect the ice.
That was one of the grossest things that I heard.
Unbelievable.
It's one, I know Antifa didn't go get permits.
No.
So why aren't you addressing that? If you want to say who created the incident, Portland PD, you created the incident. You have a obligation to the fucking city to do your job. And if you know these people are going to come out and create chaos and havoc, you're supposed to ensure the safety of the community. You're supposed to ensure that whether it be a tourist or a local person, they should be free to walk around there without worried about being, hit, harmed, assaulted, anything like that. And they failed at that. And because they failed at that, they wanted to put the onus on you guys because you guys were exposing the fact that they couldn't do their fucking job. And then
my boy Ryan, who was actually on Team Trump, Oregon, he was down there with us. Great dude. And he was standing there, and a guy, and I'm sure you saw that video too. They took a large Subway cup full of piss and threw it in his face. And he just threw piss on me to a cop. The guy didn't get arrested until 2 days later because they had to review it and show it to the prosecutor. And then they found the guy again, and they finally arrested him. But that night, the dude just laughed in our face like, they ain't gonna arrest us. And because we brought so much national attention to this, that's why you're seeing people finally go to jail.
Yeah, and I definitely want to talk about that part. I have this clip. This is from your timeline. I'll hit play. I don't have the volume on. You want to kind of run us through what is this that we're looking at right here?
So this was, we went and talked to them about peace. Matt Tario and myself and Nick, we said, let's go talk to Antifa. Let's give them a cigarello and let's kind of, the peace pipe, if you will, and be like, hey, we're all in the same, let's find some semblance, just try to engage. Do the Charlie Kirk, right? Try to engage. So we walked back over to there where me and Nick got jumped, and they all bowed up, and we started talking to them about peace, and they chilled a little bit. And when it was all said and done, we're like, all right, man, cool. Let's have a good night. We brought a grill for grilling and making hot dogs and hamburgers. And we went back over to the Patriot Corner. And in about 20 minutes, they lit a flag on fire. And Nick hit me on the arm. He said, look, and they just lit that thing. Nick started walking over there. I started walking over there. Nick tried to body out a guy tried to body Nick out. And then I pushed him. I grabbed the flag on fire, burnt my hand all up. And then the dude that was standing in that picture, he didn't know who was who. So he yanked it out of my hand. And we all ended up with a piece of that flag. But actually, it's right here.
There it is.
I told him it's coming home with me. You can see it's burnt. And it needed to come home with us. It was a symbol of, and you saw Nick's that he had from the night prior. He took it to the White House, and we're not going to just sit there. They say you have the right to burn it, but you don't. You also have the right to the consequences. So, and that's the way we looked at it. So, if that's what it is, you're not going to burn it in front of me. I call it a peaceful protest by me taking it back from you. And, I thought for sure the cops, because I had that thing stuffed in my pocket. I thought for sure the cops were going to come and arrest me for theft or something. And I lost my living shit after that picture that you just showed. And I walked up and down the street and said, let's go, motherfuckers. Who wants some? We tried to do peace. Now it's fucking war. And there's this Chechen dude that kept walking around. He's a shot caller. And he walked up to me and goes, bro, they're trying to make this happen. I said, fuck you. I'm up for you or any of your boys. Go tell them right now. I'm going to go grab a water and I'll meet you back on the street. And from that, I was screaming at these pieces of shit. And before I knew it, there's a whole bunch of other patriots over there. And after we lost it, I went over there, got my water, turned around, and Antifa was like, well, I think we went too far. And I was told that there was a big fight in between Antifa in regards to who lit it on fire after we had the peace agreement. And some of the other shot callers, they weren't on the same page. And I don't give a flip. They all left, and we took that night. So it is what it is. But we couldn't just sit there, And the whole time, I engaged with Antifa all day. I debated them. We got it. We had people screaming in my camera in my face and calling me a Nazi and everything else. But these people don't want any semblance of that. They just want to continue to do whatever the hell they want to do. And Chief Bob Day of the Portland Police Department is culpable, is absolutely 1000% allowing this to happen in his city, because when Kristi Noem came, all of a sudden they have the whole area cleared off. Crazy.
So obviously they have the ability to do it.
Took them no time whatsoever. And then once Kristi leaves, yes, they took their encampment down, but they let them back in. Those ICE officers had 2 days because Kristi was there. Secretary Noem, they had 2 days that they didn't have people in their face. They didn't have to send the ICE agents out to protect cars coming in, cars going out. They had the buffer around it. So instead of saying, okay, cool, well, now the ICE place is fine. Once Kristi left, they took down the bollards and they said, all right, you can go back in there. Now they're sitting in front of ICE again. And the ICE agents have to come out there with pepper ball and everything just to get vehicles out for shift change.
Let me ask you this. What did any of the ICE guys communicate with you or Nick? Outside of just the appreciation, did they communicate like, hey man, like, you know, let people know this shit's serious, or what was their message?
Yeah, I had a talk with a liaison who was like, man, we appreciate y'all here. You know, the mainstream media is not getting it out. We send it up the rails, and you know, they know about it at HHS and DHS and all that, but you know, and our ICE director knows, but you guys putting it out there for the world to see, they don't understand that every hour on the hour we have to come out of this Sally Port, we're at war. And it's funny because once they go back inside, this guy comes around for Antifa and he squirts all of the pepper dust on the ground, and they break out a soccer ball until ICE comes back out again. It's mind-boggling, and how the police allow them to leave these federal agents on an island for their lives.
Did you get the impression with these Antifa that it's a lot more formal and orchestrated than we're being led to believe?
It is absolutely. We analyzed it over and over, and you know, I've studied Antifa and domestic terrorism strategy. You know, reading the national security strategy from General Flynn, and having been there when he put it out. And yeah, we watched. I have a ton of intel for the general. I look forward to having a sit down with him and giving him that intel, because we kind of, and we have people on the ground that know who's who, and you know who shot callers are, who they have these mental weapons that they use, which is the homeless, mentally ill. They'll promise them a bottle of vodka if they go over there and slap that person or light something on fire, or because they're mentally ill. The jails are used to them anyway. One of them is this guy named Richard. He comes up and he just starts screaming at us and call us a piece of shit. They had him on Nick for like 2 days. And, you know, he also lit the flag on fire that Nick got the first night when I wasn't there. He was the one that they told him go over and light this flag on fire, and he stood there and Nick took it from him. So yeah, they have shot callers. They have mid shot callers. They have people that, because when the press gets there, hey, we want you three to stand up here and spit on ICE, and you're going to get arrested by ICE, and we want that on film. So they'll have somebody there to film it when ICE is jumping on top of them and dragging them by their leg through into ICE. They think that's a negative, but they do that on purpose, because, and this is where another reason where Chief Bob Day of Portland Police, the chief, refuses to work with ICE, because once they pull them in there, they're in there for like 2 hours. They do what they can in the federal building, but Portland PD won't come pick up who they arrest. So they can't do anything with them. So they let them out the side. All of a sudden you'll see Antifa start yelling and screaming because the person that got arrested 2 hours ago just joined the fight again. And Portland PD is sitting up there in 14 to 20, 30 bikes where they could come arrest them easily. But they won't do it. They won't take anything that ICE takes in. Because there's a standing order from the governor saying you will not cooperate with ICE.
Wow.
It's bad.
Were there any Portland PD officers, you know, that were like, look, man, we're not okay with this, at least showing empathy to you guys? Or was it just solidarity? They're just owned.
They're owned. They're 1000% owned. I actually left a day early. The reason I left is one, everybody's walking around calling me Chad, the Antifa. They all knew me. They knew who I was. And then at the same time, I was starting to have a real hard time with the police because they would come over and tell me to get off the street. And I'm like, fuck you. You don't care what I do. You're just coming over because you know I'm a conservative influencer. You're coming over because you want to give me shit because you're not saying anything to Antifa. And they'd look at me and I'm like, you know what, man, I'm going to end up in jail. I'm married. I'm not doing this to my wife. I took punches because I didn't want to punch back because I knew I'd be in jail. But we showed it. We showed it to the world, and big things are happening right now. And Antifa's tripping balls, freaking out.
I want to bring up the clip that we talked about, the one where the guy brought the gun out. So let me bring this up on the screen, and then let me turn up the volume on this one. And if at any point you want me to pause it so you can say something, let me know. And unless if not, then I'm just gonna play it in its entirety. So here we go.
Hey, throwing glass. Hey, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Are you mad that you got a rust bucket? Damn, you triggered, little boy. Look at that shit. Why are you throwing glass, bro? Don't get angry. Oh, fuck you up, bro. You gay. Gay. He's so triggered that he's got a rust bucket. Are you gonna pull a gun? He's showing a gun. He's showing a gun.
See, the cops were right on the other side of that truck.
He's showing a gun.
The cops were right there by the corner on the other side of that truck, and that's where they're pointing. This is Tommy's video, and they're pointing that this dude's showing it, brandishing a gun. They're right there. The whole place is saying gun. Go ahead.
He's brandishing a fucking firearm. He's literally got a fucking gun in his hand. God damn it. He's literally got a fucking gun in his hand.
Do you see him?
What the fuck?
They don't seem to be too worried about it, do they?
This part, this is where I was like,
it's
what?
Fucking bullshit is what it is. I'm sorry. It pisses me off.
100%. I shit you not. If it was me, I would have been breaking. I would have broke leather at the first time someone said it and told everybody in that area, get down.
Look at
on
the cop over there right now in the black. He's kind of leaning like, what?
It's crazy.
It's amazing.
Just imagine for a second, it's a real gun, and he pops somebody.
Nobody knows it's a fake gun. All he did was lift up his shit and put his hand on it, and that's when Tommy and you hear all these other people saying gun, gun, gun. And look how the dude in the black right there, you freezed it perfectly. The dude in the black's like, I don't know, like really, maybe, I don't know. You guys check it out. And here comes the yellow bandits around the corner, and watch how lackadaisical they walk up to him. They don't say get on the ground. They don't say, at gunpoint. Watch this shit.
My initial thought when I saw this guy with the jacket coming up to him, I thought he was going to ask him, hey, give it to me so he can, go off with it so they wouldn't find it on him. But here, we'll see what happens.
Put your hands up, brother.
You fucking put your hand.
Put your hands up where I can see
put your hands up, please. And he's looking down at the ground. He looks down at the ground instead of the assailant. He doesn't want to do this. That is a body positioning where you're like, crap, I have to do this. There's all these cameras. I've got to do something. He looks down at the ground with an armed assailant at this point. Put your hands up. Come on, little fella.
This blows my mind.
On the gun. You put your hand, you ain't no FBI. No, he threatened me with that fucking gun, dude. These people want to kill me, you guys. They hate me so much, they want to kill me. What the? He just brandishes on camera. He put his hand on it.
They still haven't searched them.
Not touched him.
Like this.
This is owned by Antifa. I'm telling you.
If this was my shift, everybody would be getting their asses reamed, and there would be IAs for failure to engage
every day. Yeah.
This is insanity. Not only is it dangerous to the public, it's dangerous to them.
Look at this dude. He's looking at Tommy instead of an armed assailant that they still haven't, they still have not figured out that it's a pellet gun. This dude's more worried about Tommy than a guy that has a gun in that truck.
The first thing they should have did, well, one, they should have approached them. At least one guy should have had their duty gun out. But as soon as they were in arm's length with them, they should have snatched up his arms, put him in a control hold, and handcuff him, and then search him.
There's nobody with their hand on a gun currently.
Nothing. This is crazy.
Opened it. So fucking crazy, bro. They want me dead, bro. They want me dead, bro. Yeah, because I called his truck a rust bucket. I called his truck a rust bucket. He wants to pull a gun on me.
Oh, look at that. I guess it is a pellet gun. He leaves it
It's
in
not
the
even
guy's
a real
pants.
fucking gun. Yeah, they're so peaceful. They want to try to pretend like they're brandishing a fucking gun. Yeah.
By the way, that's a dude with a ponytail as a cop. Just pointing that out.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's just like brandishing a real gun. Fuck that, dude. Yeah, everybody does, bro.
So I don't know the law specifically in Portland, but I'm sure that they have one very similar to California. Even if you brandish a fake gun, it's still a misdemeanor if you're doing it with the intent to scare people or threaten people.
Alpha.
It's still an arrestable offense.
After this video, a guy goes up there with the Portland law with 30 bike cops around him, screaming out the law about brandishing a firearm, even if it's fake in the act of XXYZ. And they're sitting there teaching them the law, and all the cops are sitting there like, whatever. The dude didn't get arrested. They said they cited him. We still don't know what the citation is. And he's still on the street today with the pellet gun in his pants that he obviously uses to brandish to terrorize people. They're owned by Antifa. This is all the way down from the chief. You've seen him in the press conferences. This is the priest. And let me give you a little insight about Chief Bobby Day. He owns a company that goes to corporations and teaches DEI.
Oh my gosh.
And I did talk to another cop who's no longer with Portland because in 2021, after BLM, a lot of these cops left. These are all new cops that are all DEI, progressive cops because that's who the chief hired. All the good ones left. They went to go work for the state. They went to go work for other counties, got the hell out of this department. And because of their referendums that the city of Portland have done, these cops really aren't wrong based off their own ordinances. It's based on what has passed city council. And basically, when Nick Sorter in a metropolis like Portland, he was the only one in the jail because they don't arrest anybody.
What did Nick say about the way he was treated by Portland PD?
He said once you got to the jail, the county guys were pretty cool. I actually talked to Tommy there because he had been arrested twice in 3 days. And he's like, yeah, the county guys are really cool. They let me wear my MAGA hat through the jail. I mean, all the way around. They're really like, man, this is crazy, blah, blah, blah. They couldn't really get into the politics of it. But they're like, once he was handed to the county, he's like, they were cool as shit. Like, I didn't really sit in a jail. They kind of let me sit out there and knew that I was going to be released quickly. They released him both times after he knocked out or hit two people. They released him, like, I think within 3 hours, after being booked instead of sitting there all night. And then he walked out to his car after he was released from jail, and they totaled his car. Antifa totaled his car because he was in jail. And so Matt Tardio, myself, and Nick put it out there in his Give, Send, Go, and I think we're close to $11,000 we gave him for his initial arraignment, and so he can buy a new car. Because the car he had was garbage anyway. He bought it for $600 or $900 6 years ago. But we gave him, like, I think at the end he's going to end up with like $8,000 to go buy a new car.
Awesome. Let me ask you this. A lot happened in a few days because then I get a post from somebody and they're like, hey, you guys know your boy Nick? is that the White House talking to the president? I
Ain't
said,
that a bitch?
what?
Yeah.
And they're like, yes, he's at one of the briefings with them. Bring us up to speed on that, and I'll see if I can find the clip to show the audience.
Yeah, man. Right there towards the last day, was it Monday? I think it was Monday. And I was leaving, and we had talked, and he goes, "Yeah, they just called and asked for me and some other influencers to have a roundtable with the president." And I was like, "Cool. No, there's no gatekeepers in the way. I love it." And then there was a lot, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people that have been on the ground a long time, like Honey Badger Mom, Andy, and other people that have been on the ground. Dave Medina, he's been there for a long time. They didn't get invited, and I think that sucks, because you want to talk to people who've been dealing with it forever. But I'm not the White House. Maybe they didn't know they existed. I don't know why, but I've said in every show that I wish they would have been able to speak from a long, lengthy time of being there. Nick wasn't there that long. Nick Shirley wasn't there that long. Cam Higbee wasn't there that long. John Cho wasn't there that long. Nevertheless, they all had their own interactions and saw what they saw, which was legitimate. But when you get to the nuts and bolts of what's really going on with Antifa, these are the people that have been documenting it for almost a year now, 100, or well, at least 100 days. So Nick got to go. I thought he was fantastic. I thought him bringing the flag said a lot. And they all said what they need to say. Having Andy Ngo there, who was got a concrete milkshake to the head long ago, to the point where he had to leave the country to live somewhere because he infiltrated an Antifa training group, and then they figured it out and they attacked him and almost killed him. So there's so many terrible stories out there. And then you got Katie Devonshire, who took the pole to the eye. She was there, and she got to speak to the president. There was the ABC reporter that got attacked, and she said, "I had TDS. I'm not gonna lie, Mr. President, I don't anymore. And I've learned, that who you are, what you are, and what you're about. And I'm proud to be here sitting with you right now as a former Democrat and someone that had Trump derangement syndrome." And that's a huge statement sitting in the White House as part of the legacy media. So, and everybody and all those people that are posting that I should have been there, I was in the fight, blah, blah, blah. It's not about me, man. I didn't need to go there. And I actually would have said, hey, take Honey Badger Mom or take one of these people that have been doing it for a long time and let them sit at that table so they can give you the real insight of what's going on. Because those people that were on the ground, like Ryan and Honey Badger Mom and all these people, they gave us intel so that we were safe. So I would have been all about them going. And I'm not saying that Nick should have. He may have. But nonetheless, the White House wants what the White House wants. And they were doing the journalist thing. You know me. I've always said I'm not a journalist. If anything, I might call myself a war correspondent from this point forward, because I always end up in the shit. But that being said, the journalists that were attacked here got their opportunity to talk to the president, and I thought it was fantastic. Although I do take credit on my end, because we brought this to a national level and a national heat where everybody was talking about it in the country. Everybody was talking about what was going on in Portland based off of our videos and our live feeds. And so, I consider it a successful mission, and hopefully the fix is in play right now, and we're gonna see Portland be liberated by these pieces of shit. I mean, they're just the lowest form of people you've ever been around in your life.
100%. Let me bring this clip up of Nick so everybody can see it. It's about 40 seconds.
You mentioned that flag. So remember, you put out a truth right after
That's right. I saw that.
took this flag from that man that was burning it in the street.
I saw. Do you know who he is?
Oh yeah, I know exactly who it is.
So why don't you give it to Pam? Give it to the Attorney General, and let's start prosecutions.
Oops.
I actually have a second flag that he tried to burn as well. So I have two of them from
Well,
the
you
same
also
guy.
saw what happened when that flag started burning. Everyone went crazy. And that's when it started, when they started burning the flag. So thank you. If you could give the information, it would be great.
Absolutely.
And at least that horrible night made you famous.
I got a text from the President of the United States, so I appreciate that.
And President Trump,
you mentioned
The typical Nick fashion, man. Typical Nick fashion.
gotta
Nick's
love
about
Nick.
the only guy that I know is that while Trump's talking, he's going to be talking too.
He doesn't give a flip. No.
Very few people that will pull that off. Very, very proud.
The other
of you
flag
guys.
he's talking about is the one I have right here. So, you know,
frame that thing.
we stood for what we believe in, man. Everything that SITREP believes in. You know, I've known you guys for a long time, and you know, I don't think CannCon or you or anybody from Badlands is going to sit there and let, you know, some Antifa retard start burning flags. So, you know, it was kind of I thought of it because there was people like, no, we just had a peace deal. You know, it's supposed to be free speech, and I looked at people like, shut the fuck up. I have to face my wife. I have to face my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, you know, my brother. I've got to face people that I've told 100 times when I see it on Fox News that I would not sit there and watch that thing burn. I'm going to go get it. And I've got the welts and the burns to prove it. So, you know, I'll do it again, and I'll do it proudly. And as you can see, the president was proud that we got those flags and we stopped what we could. So, you know, again, this all happened for the right reasons. And, you know, people are like, were you scared? It's not even that.
One of the things that is going to definitely develop from this is one, people have seen now, and that's a good thing. But if you look at this from a strategic, you know, operational mindset, Antifa is now on notice that you're going to start getting patriots that are going to be legal and lawful until the point that you cross that boundary. And you do something, and there's a consequence for it. You know, you're going to get, you know, whether it's punched in the face or whatever the case was that Tommy did, because they're used to operating without consequence.
We've proven that the cops don't do anything. So we had to be the ones to call them on the carpet for who they are. And they were very confused by it. They were really angry. Like, who are you to come here and screw up our fixed situation? They couldn't stand it.
And this creates a very noticeable variable that I saw over the last few days, because you had Christine Nome that went over there, and
we had the director of Border Patrol. He was rolling up in there,
and you saw the video clip that's out there of Bob Day after he what looks like he probably took an ass chewing, because the dude looked defeated.
I know for a fact he took an ass chewing.
Awesome. Okay, that was my
ass whooped in there. Christy Nome told him what's what, and I can't go into it. I wasn't there. I was just talking to people that were there, and I'm telling you right now, Bob Day got his entire ass handed to him.
And I knew it had to be the case, because the look on his face was a look of just he took it. What
is he gonna do, Alpha?
He's gonna do what he was told.
The federal government has $140 million into Portland.
Well, there's another thing. Now, granted, it's been a long time, and I would have to look at this, but there is, you know, you have municipalities and state agencies, but there is, and I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's been so long. There is a scenario where if there's enough to support corruption or the inability to perform their duties, the federal government can come in and kind of like a watchdog babysitter function.
Yep.
Take over the control of that police agency.
Yep.
And it's happened before. And that's why a lot of agencies get really nervous about stuff, because it's a bad look, and you'll probably end up getting defunded, and the sheriffs will end up probably, you know, absorbing you, and they don't want that.
And the sheriff is a patriot.
Well, that would be a good thing in that scenario. So I'm sure that conversation involved that. Just know that we can come in here, take this shit over.
Definitely told he would lose his power, his concept of power. Yeah. And I don't know at what level. Again, I don't want to speak for Christy Nome. It was a closed door meeting, but we were told under no certain circumstances that he was definitely given the understanding that your game you're playing here is done. And the DOJ has opened an investigation into the Portland PD. Boom.
All right. That's music to me. The other thing too, and this puts I'm trying to say it in a way that doesn't sound negative. This puts something on the plate of our DOJ, HSI, and the FBI of, you better start addressing these issues before they escalate, or you're going to get good patriots that are going to take these matters into their own hands and get arrested as a result. So you now have to step up as these entities, realizing that patriots have hit the precipice of they're tired of this shit.
Yeah, it's happening right now as we speak.
And now you got to deal with it. This is why you get paid the bucks. This is why you wear those special badges. Fucking fix it. You have the capabilities to do it, and now you have it. And it's not beyond me, Chad, to think that Trump had Nick in there and is having these conversations because he probably has intentions to deploy the Insurrection Act. I mean, we're going to see, man.
He does. My ass will be flying so fast. You have no idea. I'll be spiking a football like freaking Emmitt Smith for my 300th time. I don't give a flip. I'm telling you right now. I left a lot of humility on that street. I had to take a lot. I got punched. I got kicked. I got at one point thought I was stabbed. You know, and I never. Well, I pushed people. I never hit anybody. But I protected myself and made space, and some of them, you know, fell down. But at the end of the day, I was there. I filmed. I took a lot of shit, and we went where the mainstream, because I got actually interviewed by CBS nationally, which I thought was hilarious because I didn't think they'd play it, but they did. And well, they didn't play the part where I said that Bob Day is a communist and you should have seen the chick's face. He's like, I was like, and their security was all high-fiving me and shit because they're all military. And she's like, I'm like, you're not gonna play that. I understand. and that was that. But you know, we showed that numbers win. We didn't have to go out there and bloody these people. We just went out there and were louder and showed them that we're not moving. They couldn't stand it. These guys and all of the big boys, all of the dangerous Antifa, they're hauling ass to Europe because of this of being called a domestic terrorist. And these guys have been putting out there doing huge podcasts and everything. They're trying to find places to hide. And somebody's funding it. And we know that. That's the beautiful part about them being made a terrorist organization. Because and everybody's like, well, why aren't they arresting these people? Well, it's not like they wear Antifa hats, you know? So who's Antifa? And that's fine. But what it does is it opens up all of the idea. And you heard President Trump talk about it today or yesterday, that we're going after the money. And they've already found somewhere like 30 different liberal organizations that get federal grants, and they're funneling that money to Antifa. In North Carolina, in Chicago, in New York, they're funding this.
And you actually kind of answered. We had a rumble rant that came in from Huck Fillery, dollar for dollar. Chad, how do you ID that Antifa fig as a Chechen? Also, thanks for being there.
Well, I'll say this: if you've ever met a Chechen, you will know real fast who's a Chechen. A lot of it had to do with the red beard and his, you know, his Muslim stance and I mean, wore the kafaya, you know, all of that. And then when I finally got to talk to the dude, they say he's not a Chechen. Some people say he's not a Chechen, but you know, everything between me and Tario, who are understanding of what a Chechen is and what they stand for and how they talk and all that. And when I called him the Chechen, he didn't even balk at it. So whether he is or not, but we're pretty, and we even had the other Antifa that called him the Chechen. So, you know, other than that and me doing a 23andMe, which I ain't getting anywhere near that mouth or any other orifice for that matter, we just went with Chechen and he understood because when they burnt the flag, he came up to me because he's always like, hey guys, this is the government, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fuck you, you know, and I lost it. I told him, I said, fuck you, that's war now. We tried peace. We tried to legit be peaceful and talk to you. We're going to cook for you, you know, try to find some semblance of engagement. And your boys fucked it up. I said, go tell your boys, get ready. And then they started leaving because I think they saw I wasn't fucking around, and I wasn't. I mean, I love my wife, but I was ready to start planting people like flowers.
Everybody wants to be a warrior until it's time to warrior.
No shit. And all of us that want to be a warrior when we're not allowed to because we're just trying to do it right, you know? That's why I was even on a live. I said, y'all, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I got to leave. I got to get the hell out of here because my give a shits have ran out. And and same with Tario. He actually took a couple of days, went and saw his family in Oregon, you know, and he's still out there. But, you know, we had to take a minute because the flag and then we tried the peace thing and all that other shit. And we just were like, you know what? If I stay here, I'm going to end up in jail. And plus the cops were really following us around. They looked at me, Tario and Nick as some kind of, you know, leaders with the Patriots because, well, we told people to come here. We had people with their kids, their little dogs. They're like, yo, man, we all came down here to support you. We knew we'd be safe with you guys. And we're like, cool. And I mean, there's little kids over there cooking hot dogs. And I don't know that I would let my kids go down there, but hey, you know, these people felt they needed to see it. They needed to see what it looked like to stand up to tyranny and these bullies. And man, I you know what I hate the most is Tommy's out there right now. He's got a bunch of patriots with him. We didn't leave him alone. He's still out there crushing it. But every time those ICE guys came out, I know when they saw me or they saw Tario or even Tommy, they stood up a little bit. You know, they had backup, and I hate not being there for them. I hate it. I fucking can't stand it. Although I'm really glad to be home with my wife and be in a safe environment here and get some sleep. But I hate it. Every time the sun goes down here, I'm like, I should be there. And
well, I will. Well, let me say this real quick. One, God bless you, brother. God bless
Alpha.
you.
You would have done the same fucking thing.
Oh, I fucking would have, but I wasn't there, and you were.
Hoorah.
And you did the business. You were a patriot, and you let the world see patriotism. You let Americans, along with the rest of you guys there, see what it's like to stand up against people that are trying to destroy our country from within. Whether it be the terrorist Antifa guys or whether it be the corrupt fucking police department, people saw the truth of what's going on. So God bless you guys for that stuff, and I'll keep Tommy and those guys in our prayers.
Please do.
Two things that I got to say. One's a question and one's a statement. So I'll go with the statement first. This is to the ICE guys that were in the vicinity of Chad. If you're missing fucking gear, the CB took it.
You're an asshole. I thought you were gonna do something sympathetic or you know, have a moment, but you ain't wrong, man. They got nice shit. You should see their nods, man. I was like, what? These guys have great shit.
There's an ICE guy that went back to his locker and he's like, where did that flashlight go? Right? I'm telling you.
Yeah, man. They had some dope gear. I'm not gonna lie. They had some really good shit. And I'll leave it at that. But I mean, they even had the gas mask where they could talk through it, had a speaker in the front. I was like, that's badass, man.
Yep. The CB took your guys' shit.
I would. That's why they didn't let me behind the wire. They let Nick go inside. They didn't let me go inside shit. I would have took stuff out. I promise you.
And then
I'm wearing it right now.
And then the question I have for you for your final thoughts, and then stick around, folks. I got a long video that I want to play for you guys. It's a little over 6 minutes to close out the show. But before we get there, Chad, I said at the beginning of the show that Old Glory means something to us that's a little different. And so, in your final thoughts, what's Old Glory mean to you, man?
It stands for everybody that was our granddad on D-Day, to the patriots with the Betsy Ross going on, you know, in the Revolutionary War, kids that decided to stand up for something bigger than themselves, the honor, courage, and commitment that you and I learned in the military, especially on our side of the military. It stands for everybody, every one of my friends that I had a drink with, played cards with, got to know, and buried under that flag. And it was really raw for me right there because of Boone. I just watched Boone Cutler, my mentor, my really good friend who died recently. I watched his casket come on the plane with a flag draped over it. When those motherfuckers lit that flag on fire, it hit me right in the chest. It's still very raw. And if something like a flag that gives us the 4th of July and apple pie, I mean, we ain't got nothing to fight for. That flag has been drawn over so many great young Americans. Whether you believed in the war or not, they did their fucking job and they wrote that final check for you to be free to go to fucking hot yoga. I don't like where we are. But I sure shit was taught by some great Americans, one being General Flynn and many other firefighter lieutenants, captains, and the same in my Seabees. Certain things you just have to fight for. And that flag needs to be one of them. Too many have died, been buried underneath it. It needs to be honored at all times. come hell or high water, I promise you, you ain't lighting that shit on fire in front of me.
I'm right there with you, man.
I know you are.
That's what that flag represents to us, folks. I doubled down on everything that Chad said there, and I know every vet that's watching and listening to this show agrees with Chad 100%. Folks, if you can keep these men and women in your prayers. If you have social media, share out the content so the rest of the world sees the truth about what's going on. Since we know mainstream media may be showing it, but they're slow, and we need to get it out there. So with that, folks, Chad, it's been an honor, brother. Enjoy your time with the family, because something tells me that we're probably going to see some more of Chad protecting our flag. God bless you guys. We're going to go to a commercial.
I
When
hear
we come
Chicago's nice.
Oh, it looks like I got to get a plane ticket ready. I can't let you have all the fucking fun.
Hoorah, Marine.
I knew I had to start with saying it wasn't a Marine. It was a Seabee.
Y'all letting the Seabee show you up, man. And you got a Green Beret out there. This is bad shit for the Marines right now. Y'all better get your shit together.
So speaking of going out there, you guys, you go out there, listen, body's going to get funky. And how can you protect that funk? With this commercial coming up right here. They say confidence starts with a smooth skin. And baby, Soft Disclosure Lotion delivers.
I swear by this stuff. Like, I kid you guys not. This is the first lotion I've ever had in my entire life that, like, I don't get ashy after I put it on any part of my body. Like, my hands are always dry, and my hands have not gotten ashy without, like, rinsing them through water and washing them with soap since I started putting Soft Disclosure on. Like, it is black man approved. I kid you not.
Black man approved. You heard him. And let's be real. If it can handle his hands, it can handle anything.
Feet are like, they get so dry, like the heels of them, it'll just kind of like flake off. Like, but with Soft Disclosure, once you put it on, like it starts to absorb it.
Yeah, he went there. Don't worry, we won't show you his feet, but trust us, they're smoother too. Soft Disclosure Lotion is made with aloe, goat's milk, honey, and our exclusive oil blend that actually restores your skin barrier. Visit softdisclosure.com, use code BADLANDS, and get 15% off. Softdisclosure.com, promo code BADLANDS, get the 15%. You guys, Chad Caton, I'm fired up. His social media will be down in the description following the show, so you guys can go follow him. Keep them in your prayers. These are real patriots. With that, and with veterans, you know, a lot of veterans handle a lot of different things differently. And sometimes veterans are able to resolve these internal demons. And sometimes there's darkness that follows them. I want to remind you guys, to the vet that's listening, because I know that there's a vet listening that's struggling. And we hear about how many vets take their lives, and that number's going down, and that's good, but it's not zero. And so I have a video I'm going to play. It's about 6.5 minutes, and that'll be the conclusion of this show. Make sure you guys tap in for rug pull that's coming up next. Check on your vets, folks. And when you ask a vet how they're doing and they say they're fine, don't settle at that. Have a conversation with them and dig. We owe it to these guys like Chad that are out there that long after they have fulfilled their obligation, they're still fighting for this nation. So with that, I'll bring this up. You guys, CannCon, he's out there in San Francisco. He's probably painting his nails or doing something soft. God bless. Thanks for watching the show. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Emails. I hear from people that have used the podcast and the discipline and the mindset of looking at things that are problematic as being good. I hear from people that have used those things to overcome, dark patches in their lives, whether it's depression or anxiety or even like full-fledged despair. And when you hear from people that are turned that corner, that's just incredibly rewarding to know that there's people out there that are really changing for the better and turning their lives from negative to positive. It's unbelievably rewarding. But I also get some other emails and I get some other messages from people that haven't been able to dig out of that hole to overcome that despair. And to anybody out there that's in that place, you know, you lock and load that last bullet and you shoot it at your enemy. And when you're out of bullets, get out your knife and attack with that. And if you lose your knife, you grab your enemy by the throat and you keep fighting. And you keep fighting and you keep fighting and you keep fighting no matter what. And you never quit. You never quit. And if you feel like your life is in a place where you can't get any lower, and you don't think you can find any way out, good. Because that means the ultimate challenge is ahead of you. It means you can only go up. And it also means that things are going to be tough. Things are going to be tougher than anything you can imagine. But that storm that you're in, from your perspective, it seems like that storm is enveloping the whole world. But I'm telling you, it is not. The storm that you're in, it is hard to see out of that storm. It's hard to see past it. It seems like the storm is everything. But the storm is not everything. And it won't last forever. You can get out of the storm, and you will get out of the storm. And when you get out, you're going to see the sun again. But right now, you're being tried. You're being forged. You're being tested by fire and by pain. That's the test. Don't fail the test. Don't fail the test. Don't give in. Don't quit. Don't ever quit. Fight on. Fight through the storm. Fight through the pain and come out the other side stronger and tougher and better. A fighter. A survivor. A winner. Victorious. And free from that storm. Free from the darkness. Free.